What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boys. We back, the League of Extraordinary Vloggers, with a brand new video series for this channel. This is HHN Updates.
Well, we're hoping that you guys will come up with something a little more fun to call this series. But, what is HHN? Let's first talk about what this video is going to go over, or what this series is going to go over. First, we're going to talk about some of the predictions,
Construction updates,
and what are some of the information that have already been given by creative supervisor and chief officer John Murdy of Halloween Horror Nights.
So what is HHN? As you heard me say before, it stands for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Well, Universal Studios Hollywood, but also is an annual event that takes place in Orlando and Singapore. And what to expect from Halloween Horror Nights is
5 to 7 mazes,
3 to 4 scare zones that usually consist of kind of like a theme. That's because every maze is themed, but this is also like just kind of like a walk-in maze that's just a street, or it could be kind of like a barrier between one section of the park to the other, which is kind of what's done in the back lot for the past 2 years. And they have a bunch of characters that are out there just to make you scared and afraid.
So what is a character? Well, a character is basically anybody that works at Halloween Horror Nights or any frightening amusement attraction that their main purpose is to jump out and scare you. So basically, the guy that's dressed up as your worst nightmare, that's his character.
And there's two types. There are those that are on their actual feet, and then those who are stilt walkers, and those are the scary ones.
Yeah.
They're pretty darn scary. Another thing that you can expect from Halloween Horror Nights, well, we could talk about from Universal Studios Hollywood, because that's where we're based out in Hollywood, so that's what we know. With Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Hollywood, there's this thing called the Terror Tram, where you get parked off right at the beginning of Whoville, and you have to walk through a bunch of the sections just to get back to the front of the back lot.
You get to walk all throughout the back lot. It's a great time.
And usually it's themed kind of like a maze, where you have a lot of characters out there to really scare you, because you're in a huge group. Because in a maze, it's usually just your party, so if you go with 5 friends, it's you and them, and it kind of feels that way. But here, it's huge because you're in the back lot, and it just goes, there are so many. Also a note is that all the rides are actually open.
Very true, and some even themed to specifically Horror Nights. For example, Jurassic Park is no longer called Jurassic Park, it's actually Jurassic Park in the Dark, with special music inside that turns like the inside of the laboratory into kind of like a rave with Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle playing, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're going to talk about some of the information that we already know about Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh my.
Because it's coming up, people. We are less than 5 months away.
So first of all, if you want to go ahead and know all about, or get informed with all this stuff and stay up to date, go ahead and follow John Murdy at Horror Nights on Twitter. And yeah, here's where we got a lot of our information from, those Q&A responses that he's had on his Twitter feed.
Absolutely, and you're going to see like right here, this is where it's going to be just some of the Twitter quotes that we are going to be discussing. So the first one we're going to talk about is just what do we know so far? And what we know is The Exorcist. This was announced April 26th of this year, and what exactly would The Exorcist entail? Because there are many speculations that there's going to be the spider crawl, that there's going to be the vomit scene of the bedroom, but what are we supposed to feel? Because that's all focused in the bedroom. So John Murdy said very clearly, what to expect is what it feels like to be possessed. That's all he's given us so far, and I feel like it's going to be a really long time until we get anything more. But he's told us that the mazes are going to start coming. Announcements for the mazes are going to come really soon, really fast.
Because John Murdy has been busy with another maze that will be open at Halloween Horror Nights, and that is a new attraction that is opening this July 4th known as the Walking Dead attraction, which is a year-round open maze. So basically, one of the small mazes that you see at Halloween Horror Nights, but all year round. Something that was similar to this was a few years ago. They actually closed down the Universal Monsters House of Horror, which was like...
We were there.
Yeah. You would walk through and you'd see all the classic Universal monsters come out and jump you. Well, this is exactly the same concept.
It's even the same place.
Same to like the fifth power and with The Walking Dead. And John Murray has stated that this is going to be something totally new, way like 10 times better than what Horror Nights like quality would be, because he's put so much time and effort. I've heard almost 2 years this thing has been in prepared.
Yeah.
And it's almost, you know, right there, and we're gonna be there firsthand. So stay tuned for that video where we go check out The Walking Dead
maze attraction. But like, just think about that, holding a secret for 2 years. That takes some serious dedication.
That's bold.
And one thing that he's also stated about the attraction itself is that they've put space aside that you can't even enter yet. That's supposed to be for expansion in future seasons, where there's going to be future Easter eggs and more monsters and more scenes. So really, John Murray has been looking completely long-term in this. This is not just going to be something that's completely redesigned every year. No, this is just going to be added on constantly. And that's what we're going to expect at Halloween Horror Nights, where we see scenes of Season 6. Now let's talk about what we already kind of know, or something that we can predict on the knowledge that John Murray's given us.
Mm-hmm.
One of the there are certain areas that we can already talk about that we know, kind of like a theme for the past couple of years, that there's really going to be.
There's always a maze there, which is the Jurassic Park queue, the Mummy queue, the little area next to Mel's Diner, and the new area that was blocked. That was recently a soundstage which was torn down next to Transformers: The Ride.
Yes.
And then from there, he can put a maze almost anywhere.
Absolutely. Like. Last year, he did the longest maze of all time, which was Walking Dead. So that was kind of like, in hindsight, that really was just to see how people would think of have a long-term maze, kind of like what we are now getting. And so one thing that we've seen in construction, here you'll see videos of what is being constructed right now as of May 22nd. It's going to be something in the Jurassic Park queue that we have a feeling, a really big feeling, that it's going to be The Conjuring. Woo! 1 and 2. Because last year they did Insidious 1, 2 in the final chapter.
Yes.
And it worked really well because it had all the most iconic scenes put together.
All the 3 like big baddies of those movies all just come out and just shred you to pieces.
So of course there's not much information that's been given about this queue yet, because it only starts at scenic construction July 11th. So we will find out something pretty soon. But just as of this recording, our feeling is that's going to be The Conjuring, because it's a very house structure. And as you can see in the comments right here, John Murray, of course, states that a lot of horror films have houses, so it's anybody's guess. It's anybody's guess, absolutely. And The Conjuring, it would work really well because he mentions puppets. He talks about 2 big puppets. And if any of you have seen The Conjuring 2, one of the big baddies is the Crooked Man.
Getting crooked AF.
And he's just lanky as all hell. And that's really what we think would be the puppets. The 2 puppets, that's what it's going to be. Also, we mentioned the Terror Tram. The Terror Tram that we know so far is that it's just going to be original. And that's something that's kind of new, because usually the Terror Tram is kind of like a reflection. Like, it used to be Walking Dead. Last year it was The Purge. So this year it's going to be something original with some iconic creatures. He hasn't mentioned the characters at all, but he says that it's really going to be the storyline is original. The characters are going to be original, except for like a few. And really, back to the JPQ, structure of a house, puppets, really thinking that it could really work with the Crooked Man, the Nun, Annabelle, the Witch. It would just really work. So that's our prediction as of right now.
Yeah. Any other predictions that we have? Some of them include The Purge, which I'm really hoping gets a maze this year, not just another scare zone. What are you thinking?
Some of the information that he's kind of already given us is in hints, because usually what he does every year, as you will see in his Twitter, is that he gives codes for these names. And he's been kind of... He hasn't been giving us real codes this year. He's been giving us hints, like a series of hints. And one maze that he said in particular was a two-parter that we only recently got the two pieces together. The first piece was that it was the name of a character from an animation that he said was kind of old, according to him. Now, John Murdy is not a young guy, so if he puts something as old, it's probably we're looking at something that's in 30s, 40s, and the best time period for that is for a character, a female character who is iconic, would definitely be something in Disney, of course.
Disney.
And we are predicting that it's Alice. And the second part of his hint was that this is something that you can pick up at a jewelry store. And of course, what are we looking at here? Earrings? Alice earrings? No. Alice necklaces? No. But how about chains? Alice in chains. That's something that we're predicting, that there's going to be one of the mazes. It's going to be a reflection of music, kind of like how 2 years ago we had Clowns 3D music by Slash.
A couple years ago we had
Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath and
Alice Cooper. Absolutely. So this is going to be Alice in Chains, where the music is going to reflect some of the characters, or just the characters are being reflecting the music. Maybe it's going to be in 3D. We don't know what it is so far, but this is our prediction, that based off of the hints that he's given us, it's Alice in Chains. But
so, yeah,
we could be wrong.
It's anybody's guess right now, but we will keep you guys updated if that's what you guys would like us to do. Go ahead and leave a like and a comment if you guys like this video and want to see more of it. Leave a comment telling us, hey, did you hear about this, or can you guys expand upon this, your do's and don'ts for Halloween Horror Nights and stuff like that. We'll more than likely be happy to give you guys that video or any other video you guys' little hearts can think of.
Absolutely. And as we get closer, of course, we'll give you more and more information. If you even want to meet up with us at some point, where we're going to be at Halloween Horror Nights, which days we're going to go, up to you guys, really what you expect from us. Because this is, like, even the name is up to you guys. You give us a name and then we'll name this series.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, if you guys like this, go ahead and tell us. So from us here at the TLEV, we're going to wish you guys a safe and happy day.
Don't forget to subscribe.
We outie.